So let me switch this to, just gotta switch the settings. I don't think everybody can comment. I just realized. Let me just go and switch that real quick. Participants. Just give me one sec, guys. Just switching it over so we can switch it over so you guys can actually comment. If you can leave a chat, let me know. I just don't see it coming up on mine. And please fill out the poll on the market sentiment. Are we going to sell off? Are we not going to sell off? Let me just figure out how to change this real quick. There we go. Settings. There we go. So I want to make sure everybody can comment on this because there's just so much market volatility right now. We got to make sure everybody's included. Here's the live chat. There we go. Where's Jay Young? Jay Young, if you can hear me, Jay Young, message me on the WAP if you can. Live. Are you able to chat? Get this going very shortly. Go over some stocks. If I could just figure out how to change these settings. I believe I had it to subscribers only. Oh, he's already in. All right, so Jay Young says he can't chat, so let me just figure out how to switch this. I want everybody to be able to chat. Let me close that. Got 10 viewers. It's awesome. All right, stream settings. Just going over some stuff, trying to figure out. Where are you? All right, let's get through this. Why is this so difficult? There's gotta be a way to do this. Maybe it's this button. There we go. I found it. There we go. Now I'm gonna switch it over to subscribers. I'm gonna make any duration. As long as you're a subscriber, you can chat. So if you can, guys, just please send something in the chat. Are you able to chat? Just change the settings. Please complete the poll as well. All right, awesome. Thank you, Jalen. Appreciate it. All right, guys, let's get into it. Trading Simplified. You know the channel. You're here. Let's get right into it. Stock market is definitely pulling back. Starting to look pretty ugly out there, guys. We have more news on the tariffs, and the tariffs are making rows right here. Let me just show you this real quick. I'm not sure if these ads can be on YouTube live, but who really cares? Let's just show it anyway. If you see here, look at this. It says, let me just bring this screen down for a second. I just want to show this. Let me zoom in on this. So right here, you'll see China retaliates 84% tariffs on U.S. goods as Trump trade rattles markets. So this is definitely going to be a catalyst here. We're definitely going to see some market volatility. The stock market does not like uncertainty, that is for sure. So definitely be cautious. And let's just take a look here. So going into this, let's start off always just with the QQQ, the SPY, and let's mark off some levels for you guys that are going to be trading. All right, so looking here, we already I've always bring this up just in the 1 year chart. I just want you to just be able to see the bigger picture on things here. You can tell that the market has broken its trend here. So now we're trying to find bottoms, and you're not going to be able to find a bottom on this. If you're going to be buying long term, you have to be thinking with percentages, and everybody in my WAP and the YouTube and the members that join can see how I buy. And I buy in percentages. So if I'm gonna buy, let's say $1,000, I'm gonna use a percentage of that and do like 20%. So then I'll buy $200 at that level of a certain stock or ETF I want, or I'll buy 50% at a level that I think is near the bottom. But I'm also realistic and think to myself, okay, it's probably, not just going to be the bottom exactly here. All right, so you just have to be cautious, mark out your levels, know the percentages you're willing to buy, and then go from there. So right now, QQQ has this low potential of $402. There is obvious resistance levels right here. on the QQQ. So if you're trading QQQ live and you're trying to go long on them, watch this 420 level if we can even reach that today. I have a feeling today is just going to be a bearish day. You have multiple touch points, just highlighting them for you. Multiple touch points where you failed. You can see it where we had support here, gap down through that tariff news, came back up, held this level right here as well at 420. And then what did it do the next day? It broke right through the 420 level, and that was the problem. So you can see here we're bouncing. 420 has to be broken. I would not really consider going long in the short-term trading things unless you are going to be one of those long-term investors and you're trying to just buy dips right now. So when we eventually get the bull market, whenever that happens. But if you're short-term trading, if you can get a move into 418, 420, I would assume some most likely consolidation. We'll see how it plays out. And then pushing back down for that short position. If you want to be more aggressive with your short position, I would actually follow this right here and just see what it does at 415. If the market is truly going to be bearish today, then we are either going to get halted right here, get crushed at 415, consolidate here, and then sell off, then to make new lows below the 402, or you're going to go up to this 420. So just definitely please keep an eye on that, all right? SPY, it's very similar. We'll zoom out on the max so you can see it, just to review it for everybody, especially newer traders. Just looking at the long-term trend, we were bouncing off this. We failed. The next level of support for SPY is around 460. Now, if you zoom in just on the 5 days, we have 480 as our low, getting pretty close to testing this. So looking for that, just be cautious. And now what you're going to watch now on the SPY, you can see right here around this $500 level, you had right there was support touch. And then right up to, oh, it moved right up, basically at this 500 level, you can see that we have resistance. So if you're looking, it's the same principle with the SPY and the QQQ. Look for that mark, look for the push up into the 498 level, 500, potential short positions here. The bears are loving this. These are easy, clear, defined levels that you could be shorting these at. I want to go over DIA. This is something that I hold long term, and I just like to break it down, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. There's only one ETF like this that I know that follows these 30 companies and basically weighs them by market cap. We're getting close to hitting the support level. If you move this up just a little bit, it's pretty much guides right on target, and this is why I have been buying them. I like to look for long-term trends, and that's how I will buy them. So what I do is I look for these long-term trends. It's bouncing off these levels. Yes, it's heavy selling volume, but for me, scooping up some shares around the bottom of here, I'm going to continue buying lower, looking for that potential level of support. If we go lower, I would imagine we are going to test around $350 on the Dow. Now, if you're a long-term investor, this is good stuff. You're going to buy, you're going to hold, you're going to call it a day. SMH, you can see the semiconductor ETF has been getting crushed. Look at these indecision candles here. For those who don't know what that is, these are indecision candles. You can see the selling pressure of 261 where it opened, and now it closed at 237. Same with this one. Open at 261, closed at 236. No buyers up here. Started selling off, heavy volume pressure coming down to 170. SMH, if NVIDIA, Broadcom, all of them go down, we are looking for this sell-off here down to 160. That is where we are looking for that support, where I will actually consider stepping in and not just buying individual semiconductor stocks, but just buying the overall ETF around that 160 level. So definitely just be cautious, but I do feel we are approaching this level, and it is definitely possible with this tariff news, especially with the new China news on that as well. So just be cautious. And if you're going to be buying these guys, this is a long-term outlook. Now let's jump into some individual stocks here. Let's go over Meta at first. Meta was doing very well, went up to 740. And just like all retail, probably buying up in the 700s, thinking it's going to keep going up. Now they're down over 35%. So definitely be cautious. You know, you get to be smart, watch your levels, and then look where your potential levels could be. I think when it comes to Meta, if we keep getting all this sell-off pressure, it is not unrealistic to think that we are going to see $400 to $380 per share. Just looking at the long-term chart here, it's easy to map out $400 would be a consolidation level at this point. So look at the 1 month. What do you see? All rejections. If you're going to get any momentum to the upside, you have to be looking for this level. You have to be watching the $580 level for Facebook. This company has been selling off, pressure to the downside, trading at 500. Obviously, if you get a move to 550, you're going to get psychological potential resistance here to sell off. If we start building more momentum, they start actually agreeing on some tariff news, maybe $580, and then sell off. These are all going to be short positions today. Unless you're going long, I go long in like index funds, I go long in ETFs that I know I'm going to be holding for 10 to 15 years. I have no problem with that. That's not a big deal. But Meta, there's no floor here. If you fail between 480, the gap fill from 480 to 400 is there. It's realistic. So just be cautious. Your stop loss has got to be below this 470 if you're going to be buying. It's a very thin line. There's not much support behind it. Moving forward, let's go over all of the Mag 7 stocks first. I think we owe it to them. Most of my portfolio is in these bad boys. It's probably in yours. If you own the S&P, you own QQQ. So you got to go over these stocks. It doesn't make sense not to. So Apple is testing new lows again, going down to 168. And always ask yourself, just like Peter Lynch, the great investor, said, how low can a stock go? It can go a lot lower than you imagine. It doesn't have to be rational. It can continue to go lower as long as the market sentiment is poor. So if we break this $165 per share, expect more further downside, and we'll have to watch and see. If you're looking to take a stab at this, I would assume 163, 165 would be the lowest that you'd absolutely go with this before you start stopping out. So just be cautious. This could open up at the market and just start selling off. Apple's got a ways to go before we start seeing short entries around 190. Next, let's go over Google. Google's a stock I own in the YouTube portfolio. It's one of my favorite stocks. And I would definitely watch this level. It already broke past the 150 psychological support. We might be potentially heading lower here. There is some green coming in at these levels, because if you just look at long-term investors are looking at this as a V-shaped recovery. They're seeing this pullback to 206 and saying, you know what, it was 206, it's 140, I'm going to buy some shares. Google, big company, makes billions every 3 months, every quarter, down 33%. I'm going to just start buying these shares. So that is what is happening, especially people that have shares at 200. They're definitely buying at these levels. It's a clear level where you can see that there was potential areas of support. Now, will it hold? We will find out. But right now, there is more downside potentially coming. So just be cautious, watching out for that. Yeah, buying NVIDIA, we'll go over NVIDIA in a sec. I think NVIDIA, we have to be careful here. NVIDIA, this is a bold call, and I might get a lot of backlash on this. I think we're going to see $76 on NVIDIA. Look at NVIDIA just on the chart and just think rational. Look at this chart. It looks disgusting. It looks ugly. And you can't even count 92 as support level anymore. It's below that. So overall, it's broken those levels. There's a gap fill down. And it's not that much more of a percentage. If we break $87 and head to, let's say, the 70s, it's like a 10% pullback. That would be, I think, enough for capitulation in NVIDIA. It doesn't mean they're a bad company. It's just all the stuff that's going on within the tariffs. It's the uncertainty, the businesses that have to make these rules and regulations and set their price points. It's going to be very difficult if they have to outsource with China and US. And you need to know exactly what the tariffs are. So I think until the tariffs are agreed upon, then businesses can adjust, their goals and outline for the future. So looking for a pullback here to $76, then potentially for a push up, but you got to keep that stop loss below that 76. I do think that we are going to see lows of $75 to $76 on NVIDIA. That doesn't mean they're down and out for the count, but They're trading at $96 per share. If you want to trade them realistically, look for the short entry. This is what I'd be looking for. Looking for the short right back into 100. See if we push up into it at the open and then push back down. There is not really positive news looking at these guys. So you just have to be cautious right now. Looking at Amazon, Amazon is another stock that if you read every article, every person is saying, this is the buy, this is the buy. Whenever I see that from the analysts, the hedge funds that seem to always have it wrong, 33% down. If you're looking to get in these positions, I appreciate that, Jay Young. Definitely, thanks for supporting the WAP on it. I would also just look at it and yeah, it's kind of cool. In the WAP, we discuss all these daily. We have the daily chat that we all talk through, which is nice. But anyways, going back to Amazon, you're down 30%. I do like the entries here. I'm not against it. If you're going to start buying in, just remember what I said from the beginning of the stream. Look for the percentage allocation that you're willing to buy in these stocks. You know, if you're putting $1,000 in, maybe you buy 25% here at 170. But have room in case it goes down to 150, because 150 is really where I'm looking to add Amazon. This is where I want to buy it. We have multiple touch points from 144 up to 150. I want to start accumulating shares of Amazon around 150. If we get that pullback that I'm looking for down to 150, it's going to be a 38% pullback. To me, I like that. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for this entry here to pull back to around 150. Also, I just want you to keep in mind, you have to watch this 160 level. If 160 does not hold, you're having that further downside going to 150. So I would be cautious watching that, okay? Look for that pullback here. If you're gonna be shorting it, you have to be watching like the 180 level, looking for that pullback there. Next, let's go, we did NVIDIA already. Let's break down some other stocks. I'm pretty sure we hit mostly all of them. We did Meta, we did Google, Amazon. Is there any big dogs I'm missing? We did Apple. There we go. Okay. So, Microsoft. I can't forget about these guys. The beloved Microsoft. That's now in my YouTube portfolio that I'm continuing to buy, hoping these levels stay longer for you guys to see. All right. So here we go. So looking at Microsoft, it has been pulled back. It has went to about $345 per share. And I've been accumulating shares here. Microsoft is a company that I want to hold long term. And I do like these guys. I like adding them into the YouTube portfolio, down 27%. Massive pullbacks that I'm hoping 2 to 3 years from now, these are going to be excellent buying opportunities. I don't think I'm getting the buy, so I'm buying in percentages like I always preach. You know, a certain percentage of the portfolio that I'm comfortable with. And that's what I'm looking for right now. If you're looking in the short term for Microsoft, the levels that you really should watch the 340. If we break 340, we're going lower. And, you know, like any trader on YouTube is going to tell you, which is pretty freaking obvious, but just for YouTube guys that are just trying to figure it out, if you're learning how to short and you get this push down. So we start with the market going at 350, right? Market opens at 930. If it violently breaks past 340, and then you get that bounce to retest this level of 340 to 345, you want to look for that consolidation and then that further move down. That is how people will short this market if it continues to move lower. That is what people will do. They'll wait for the low to break and then retest into that level and then break down. That's what you're like really looking for today, or you're looking for pops on Microsoft up to 370 and then shorting that back down. Always have a tight stop loss, especially if you're shorting stocks. This is a company that I am looking to add. I am looking to add these guys to the portfolio. I have not decided to do it yet. There's a few indicators that I'm not a fan of right now. The first one is looking at the long-term chart. The yellow is where I want to start buying. And that's going to be around the $290 range for Visa. I always want to buy them at the bottom of the channel, but that's $250. I don't know how realistic that is. We would need severe Armageddon to keep happening here. 15% pullback here. So definitely keeping an eye on that. But just to give you my perspective, 1 year chart, it's 28 on the RSI. I do like that. I want to see if we can get a little bit lower on this. I wanted to also add and be in the middle of this chart right here. So around 290, 291. I want to see the RSI drop a little more on that 1 year chart. Then I'm going to start accumulating some Visa. Everybody's going to spend money. People don't have money, and they're going to use those credit cards, and that's what I'm looking for. SCHD, I've been accumulating some shares of these guys as well. Looking at this $24 range, it has pulled back considerably from its highs of 29. I mean, it's pretty big, 17% pullback for an ETF. I mean, you can tell the overall market is getting crushed. So if you're looking to get dividends, SEHD is definitely an option. Here's just another ETF for you guys to consider. This is the Fidelity Spider. I have this in my YouTube. You could just I'll try to bring it up at the end of this video if you just want to see what it looks like. We have a video on SPSM, but $49. This is small cap 600 companies pulled all the way back down to 30%. I mean, that's a massive pullback looking at this. So definitely be cautious watching this. I've been adding shares, accumulating this as well for the long term. Let's go over some other individual stocks. Starbucks is getting crushed. It is trading within this range. You have a range of about $65 to about $117. I like this accumulating down in this 75 to 70 range. Your stop loss below $70. Newsmax, I just want to go over Newsmax. This company came out a few days ago and it got pumped from $10 all the way up to $280, and now it's pulled back. This is not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I am thinking about doing. I'm just going to wait. I have alerts already set for Newsmax. Let me just bring this up for you guys. I have alerts set up for Newsmax. I'm waiting for $15 per share. If $15 per share comes, I got discretionary money. I got money I can burn. I'm going to try to buy these guys and just hold them. If I can get them around $10 to $15, I'm going to look to buy some shares. Do not do that with money that you are not willing to lose, all right? I'm a YouTuber. That doesn't mean that I have the best investments. I'm not Warren Buffett. So that is just a risk that I'm willing to take, that I'm looking for. So just keep that in mind, okay, guys? AMD, I think this might be a potential steal here. AMD is and has pulled back to almost $70 per share. This is a monster pullback from 227 all the way down 65%, which is insane if you look at these pullbacks. On the long-term chart, you have support over here around this level, around $70 per share. I think with SMH pulling back the semiconductor ETF, this is what I am watching, I am looking for. We are continuing to make lower lows. That doesn't mean that if you're going to buy this and you go long on this, it's just going to reverse. It can continue to get cheaper, so just be cautious. But the thing I like about them is you see this E right here. You got that earnings catalyst on May 6th. Looking out for that May 6th right there. That's what I'm looking for. All right, so definitely some catalysts finally coming up. We got earnings. I think what the big dogs are all looking for is they're looking for that actual, guidance from these companies. MU is another stock that I'm watching heavily, has traded off and has sold from 156 down to 65. I just want you to see how nasty this pullback is. Look at this pullback, down 61%. That's a massive pullback looking at that. So just be cautious. If you're gonna buy companies like AMD and MU, you better be ready to hold them long term because they are getting crushed. AVGO Broadcom, $150 per share. This reminds me of 2022 when all the stocks sold off. I bought Amazon, Google at $90 per share and then eventually sold them at like $180 per share. You just got to be patient if you're going to hold these stocks. Broadcom is another stock I'm interested in. I didn't catch it on this dip. I bought Microsoft instead where it pulled back to 140. If it does pull back to around these levels, I will be a buyer, be looking for those entries. Nike stock is another one in my YouTube portfolio that is getting crushed. Absolutely getting destroyed with these tariff news, down to $52 per share. It's just ridiculous at this point. Be careful, watch the $48 per share. Let's go over Tesla. Tesla, the darling Tesla, 220. It's about to make new lows. 214. Just look for this. Look for that sell-off. Look for it to break $214. And where do you think we're headed on this? I'm thinking $200 per share, baby. That's what I'm waiting for. $200 per share. I will continue to add to my Tesla position. Cannot give up on them just because the company's red right now. All stocks are red. ASML, this is another company that I think is something you should pay attention to. Looking at the 5-year chart, we have broken this trend. Now we are selling off 583. Let's see if we can get a lower 375 around there. Next, PLTR. This stock, I kind of view this as a meme stock, to be honest. Looking at PLTR, the valuations on this are just absolutely absurd. 125 down to 75. I wouldn't go long here. You got to wait for market sentiment to change, the AI news, the sentiment to change. It's kind of like a show me, prove it kind of era right now. Look for your levels. Watch for 76 to break. 73, look for the reshort of 73, and then the further move down to 66 is where I would be looking. If you were looking to short pops, you could also do this right here. You could look for the push up to $82 and then short from there. What other stocks do we want to check out? Definitely post in the comment if there's stocks that you are interested in that you want to see get reviewed. We'll just review them right now, no big deal. Let's just go over the links here. I'm just going to post this in here as well. I might as well do this. This would be a good idea. Let's post that in there. There's the WAP if you're interested in checking that out. And then also if you want to be a member of the YouTube channel. I can't get Jay Young to join. I'm going to keep trying though. We're going to keep trying to get him to join the YouTube channel member. He's a member of the WAP, so he does his part. But we're going to put that in there as well. All right, here we go. So next, let's check out a few more stocks, then we'll get out of here. NBIS, I just want to throw this out there. This is an AI stock. This is something I've been watching. I almost bought them. They were on $18. I said I was going to buy, but I bought Microsoft. I bought Google. I bought other companies that I thought would be more reliable. Let's see if we can break this low here. If we can break $18, this would be fantastic. This means that we will be able to get them at a lower price, around $14, $13 maybe. The $2 is mine, Jay Young. I'm getting it. Anyway, so let's see here. BBAI, this is a stock that Jay Young, he recommended I buy it. I just want to thank him personally on this YouTube channel. I bought it at $7. Let's see what I'm down right now. I got it at $7. Let's see how much we're down here. 63%. 63% I'm down on this. We're going to have to add to this eventually, but right now we're going to see if it keeps melting down. It's down to $2.50. If we can get it around $2, I'll start to average down on it. Let's look at Walmart. Looking at the short term on this, it's got to hold these levels right now. It has to hold $80 per share. If it breaks $80 per share, we're heading lower. Yeah, let's look at SOX. Let's look at these guys. SOX L. So this is, just so you guys know, this is for newer traders. This is awesome. I'm really glad you brought this up, actually. So if you don't have as much money, right, and you're looking to trade, and you're like, well, Trading Simplified, how do I trade these? You know, how am I really going to buy these? This is what people will say. What you can look for, you want to get into semiconductors. Let me bring this down for a second for you guys. You want to get into semiconductors. There is the Direxion Daily Semiconductor Bull 3X shares. And I have to preface this because if you buy shares of this, it decays over time. So just because you get it at $8.25, it slowly decays. You're going to need semiconductors to outperform if you're holding this. If the market is not doing well and it's just kind of consolidating like these periods, you are actually losing value in this. So keep in mind that these decay over time. You really do need to predict the move. But overall, looking at this chart right here, you can see that from 2023 all the way to 2024, we consolidated from $10 to around $20 or $15 around that time period. So these are short-term trades. I just want to preface that, okay? When you're looking at it like that. Let's switch that over. Here we go. So you want to preface that with, if you're going to buy SOX L, this is a 3 times bull ETF, and I just want the newer traders to be aware of that. I don't want you to think that I can just buy at $8, not going to decay over time. You can lose your entire investment in these, so just be cautious. If you're looking at this and you're just drawing out the long-term perspective here, we can see that $6 is the low. Right now, if you're looking to play this play, then I want you to specifically look out for SMH and look at these levels and say, okay, do I believe that we're going to get support around these levels at 160? If you're going to get those levels at 160, that you think you see consolidation and you want the cheaper option, triple bull, then go for it. Go for the SOX L, this. But just keep in mind you can have that loss. Because just to give you that perspective, if the SMH pulls back even further, and we pull back from 171 down here, that's 5% pullback down to 160, which is the level that we're looking to buy. But if you go to SOX L, you have to account for, instead of 5% you're pulling back, you are pulling back 15% because it is 3 times leverage. All right, so the pullback for SOX L, if you did 15% on that, would be around $6.50. So that does line up according to right around this range, but I just want you to at least be aware. So if you're gonna buy on that level, you're looking for that, and you're trying to buy SMH at 160, then you could buy SOX L at $6.50 because that'd be 15% loss compared to the 5% on SMH. If you're gonna try and be a little more aggressive, look for this bounce on SOX L. See if we get a pullback down to $7. If we get the consolidation and it can prove that it's holding the $7 range, then I'd be looking for that push. All right, so that is definitely something to consider. Remember, these can what's the right word for it? They can change their price back. Like if it goes down to $5, they can just reopen the price one day and just like put it back at $30, $40. That's why if you look at the long term of these trends, I want to give you this example. This is the best way to do it. Look at SQQQ, which is the triple leverage of the NASDAQ. Look at the long term. It has just decayed over time. So you buy these triple leverage funds and they can continuously sell off like that, where they'll reset. So SQQ was down to $5 and then it reset back up to $57 and then it started coming back down again. So just be cautious. SOX L, watch that $7 range. If you can hold that $7 range, then go for it. Yeah, no, we're holding BBAI, but I got to blast you on YouTube Live, man, for all our members to see. You know, sometimes you take advice and you get crushed, you know? So that's why I'm saying, if I'm saying buy something, you know, do your own research before you buy something, all right? It might continue to sell off. All right, look in here. Intel stock making new lows. I did not know this. I actually didn't pick up on this. I was trading them around $20 to $23. I do not have shares of Intel. This is an excellent opportunity. Let's hope they keep selling off. Hopefully nobody has shares of these guys because I don't want you to lose money. But they have their earnings on April 24th, which is about 2 weeks from now, a little bit less. And let's see if we can if we sell off, this is going to get very attractive. If I got to bring up the long chart on this because it's very difficult to see, but look at this. If we can pull back to around $12 per share, I'm going to be a buyer of Intel then. So I'll definitely be looking out for that angle there. All right, let's see if it just keeps selling off. It's making new lows. If you're looking to short Intel, Put Central is coming up here, right around here. Let me just bring this up. Boom. If you can get shorts back to about 19.5, consolidation, then push back down to confirm that low. That's what I'd be looking for with Intel. Let's go over Chipotle stock. Chipotle stock, we marked off this level, just talking about ranges where you could buy from. If you're buying at the lower end of the channel, there is support around this area, and that's why we drew it out. So you can see that we had consolidation around this 42 to 44 range. Now that we are entering it, we are looking to see if we enter this around $44, will we potentially get that angle to actually push down here? Oh, what the hell's going on here? Why is it doing that? Let me switch this over to trend line. Get that push line coming down to about $44, $43, and then push back up. All right, guys. Any other stocks you guys want me to review before we get out of here? Aflac. Who's buying Aflac? Let me check it out. Yes, I just want to throw this out there. We did SOX L, but SOX S is the bearish. I mean, it's pretty simple. If you're going to trade the bearish SOX L, I mean, you're looking for new highs. So if you break 54, keep your stop loss above that high and then go from there. Berkshire Hathaway, I just want to mention to you guys, starting to look a little more attractive, but I think we need some more selling pressure on this bad boy. It's still, the trend line is still pretty much intact. So we need to see, can we get that pullback going here to about, let's say, $450 per share. That's what I'd be looking for with this. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. I appreciate you guys supporting. Definitely be sure to check out this. We got the live pre-market analysis. Thank you for my members for supporting the channel. Jay Young, I can't say thank you for not paying the $2 to support the membership. We got the membership-only videos for you guys, where the YouTube portfolio updates just for you guys so you can see exactly what I'm buying. And if you want that as well to see in real time and have a direct chat, you can just click on the WAP and join on here. This is another website where we have individuals that have, they pay a fee, a couple of dollars a month, and we can all chat and we go over stocks and all that fun stuff. Go over the popular videos, go over the basic investing for beginners, the Fidelity AccuTrader Pro, the index funds, ETFs, investment strategies, the Vanguard investments. Here's my past live streams if you want to see. I've been working on these thumbnails, so I think they're looking much better than what they used to look like. Day Trading P&L 2025, and then the Crypto Trading Gemini. And definitely please check out my shorts. I've been trying to blow up these shorts, so definitely check them out. Thank you guys so much for checking in. All right.